Fantastic. It's great to be here this afternoon with our co-host Luke.
Thank you.
And just going to take a little moment for the numbers to build. There's quite a nice number of attendees online now so far. So we'll go through a couple of things and we'll get started very soon, but certainly appreciate you joining right on time and early, a lot of you, so appreciate that. Certainly taking time out of your day, which is really appreciated as well. So I think there's been lots of webinars occurring throughout 2020, 2021. It's been the latest thing with COVID, but we really wanted to bring some value to you guys today, especially around the top 5 must-have marketing tools to supercharge your real estate business. So Luke and I are certainly looking forward to it, and we'll get started very, very soon.
I think answering questions or giving information that isn't backed by a sales field is also going to be pretty important.
Absolutely.
Giving some transparency around information rather than what's on a brochure.
That's it. Fantastic. So at the end as well, there'll be time for question and answers. We'll have a little poll also we'll get you involved in, and we want it to be as interactive as possible. So we encourage questions, popping those through, saving to the end, whichever you prefer. We'll certainly endeavour to cover off on those as well. So we are, 2:01. Numbers are certainly still building, so we'll just give it another moment and we'll get into some of the formalities. So when it comes to just some of the housekeeping, just want to make sure you get the most out of today. So we want to make sure you've got the audio quality nailed. We want to make sure there's no sort of video lag for you. So just sort of stopping any of those services that might be chewing up your internet, whether you are still working from home and kids online or anything like that, watching YouTube, just be aware of that. But yeah, overall, we should have a great session, I think, running through with you on some of these key topics. We'll push on. So hopefully anyone joining, there'll certainly be the recording afterwards as well. So before we begin, that's it. Yeah, the recording will be sent through after today's session, and there'll be time at the end for questions. So we'll get right in. So I'm joined here by my colleague, Luke Thomas, CEO of Website Blue. Luke has certainly been in the industry for a very long time, servicing real estate businesses across Australia, New Zealand, when it comes to websites and agency websites specifically. So really great to have his knowledge and insight here.
Yep.
And welcome along today. Luke.
Thank you.
Myself, I've been around the industry a fair while. I was an agent myself over 10 years ago now as LJ Hooker, Ray White agent, big fan of auctions, and ultimately had joined one of the large portal groups prior to joining PropTech Group, spent 5 years there. And really for me, it's about adding value, I suppose, bringing all that knowledge experience from the agent side, as well as then bringing along the marketing knowledge that I've sort of uncovered over the last sort of 10 plus years across a number of different areas. So really looking forward to sharing some of those insights with you today, showing you sort of some of the tips and tricks that I've used within social media as well to get the most out of it. But just to give you a bit of an overview of the PropTech Group business, it's as a name, it's fairly new within the industry. It is a publicly listed business that brings together some of the brands you see on screen. So our Vault RE, our core CRM product, being the heart of what we offer. Our recent acquisition of the Eagle software CRM comes to the family. We've got our Rent Find Inspector product, heavily used across the property management space. Real Estate Investor, a great tool used by property investors. And then what Luke's here to sort of bring that knowledge today around Website Blue, so agency websites, and Designly, those tools for agents to really leverage in their marketing, their social media, email, newsletters, all that sort of thing, which we'll cover off on some of those tips and tricks today for you as well. So yeah, that just sort of gives you an insight into an experience of PropTech Group as a business. And some of that leadership team, which you can certainly dates back some 20 plus years for a lot of the team, and the product knowledge and experience sort of back to 97 when the My Desktop product was founded. And Scott and Adam still heavily involved in the development of product on a day in, day out basis. So we certainly appreciate their knowledge when it comes to CRM. So look, when it comes to the important things we're here to talk about today, CRM, social media, websites, chatbots, and marketing automation. A lot of people run straight to that social media. It is so important. It's such a key part to it. But what we really want to, I suppose, confirm to you guys is that the core of everything you do, it does come back to CRM. We really want to have that ability for you to pull all of your data into a single source and a single point of truth. ultimately gives you a single view of both customer and property. Is just so important when it comes to bringing it all together. But not just your contacts and not just your properties, it's sort of how we can bring together the other tools, and especially that marketing side of things, the social media, how we can do that in one place for you is really, really important.
And being able to track the journey, I think, as well.
Absolutely.
Of how people come in as a buyer or a vendor,
yeah,
or a renter or a landlord, and then journey through with your agency, I think.
Exactly. And I think what we've seen in the market at the moment is that there's such heat in the market. Agents are meeting so many buyers, potential sellers in their journey, and it's now how do we help you consolidate that information and those contacts to help them transact, to help them move through the property life cycle as well. So it's just so important that the core system that you use within your business can handle a lot of those tasks and have that done within one system. So I think about features like integration. So the Vault product, as an example, has over 600 integrations with sort of third-party systems.
Yeah.
Some of the favorites of mine have been around Google or Outlook integration with your calendar. It's a really powerful one to make sure you've got that single view again. Where am I supposed to be at 10 o'clock tomorrow? Is it an appraisal inspection I need to be out to? And knowing your availability. So running from your calendar.
Making it simple as well.
It's got to be all in one place.
Exactly. It shouldn't be laborious.
Yeah.
On your day-to-day basis. It should empower you and make your life more efficient.
Absolutely. So that's core of what we're all about is keeping you in one system for your day. The other parts that I see really powerful tools within these systems include integration with some of the data products like Price Finder, like CoreLogic, being able to pull in property information into the system as well to save a lot of this data entry. I think CRMs can be a scary place for a salesperson around how much data entry, how much admin have I got to go through when it comes to getting this in. So I think about open home registers, stuff like that. So agents are on the move a lot more than ever. With COVID, you're obviously working from home a lot more as well. So important things around the app experience as well, I think, is probably the other big part to CRM. How does it work for you when you are remote? How does things like even doing an appraisal in the field, have you got to go back and replicate that in the system, or can you do and start that journey from within the app? So all important things to consider when it comes to your CRM, well before you get into the likes of needing a social media account to start posting pictures of yourself, pictures of your properties, that sort of thing. Obviously, buyers love that, but they've got lots of resources when it comes to looking for property, portals, those sort of things. So it's sort of what else can we do to really help harness your data and then leverage that data. Know who to talk to next, I suppose, is so important as well. Would you agree with that?
And get more listings.
Yeah.
It's sales or rentals, listings.
Listings.
Buyers.
That's right. And I think what we've noticed in the market at the moment, that's the shortage. Although different data coming through at the moment around listing volume, so it's not as light on as everyone's expecting. It's just that there's such fierce demand for property, so the supply and demand curve is still out of whack. We haven't got enough homes to satisfy these interstate migration or the other aspects as well. Yeah.
And I think depending on location too, as we come in and out of lockdown, you have states that have been locked down for quite a while now. The market's changing everywhere, and it's not the same in every state.
Definitely not.
And it's very hard to predict.
It is.
You need to kind of nail your solid way with which you're going to acquire listings and put that out there.
Yeah, and as you say, like, who knows? We've just come out of a lockdown in Brisbane here, but we know other parts of the country are still going through some of those challenges that brings. So,
we may be out there again.
Look, who knows? Queensland's are rocking on up here.
Yeah.
Where Luke and I are based out of at the moment. So, look.
And we are technically 1.5 metres away. Exactly. It's not very close, but we're on camera, so.
Indeed, it's the wide angle lens we're running with. Look. We touched on already, but that single source of truth is so important. Single view, I think, being so important across property and contacts. And that really, a lot of it can carry across from sales to property management. A lot of business owners we speak with, their goal at the moment is to grow that rent roll and really grow their business through that asset. So if we can really light up the opportunity where that contact is often, like you said before, a landlord, a tenant, all of those different fields they can fall into.
Exactly.
It's important they're categorized well, but we can even help with things like categorizing of contacts as they enter the database. So they're
100%. And I think the single view of customers is something that we've spoken about within the 4 days for years, and now with an agency being able to have property management and sales in the one system, you truly can have that single view of customer and track someone from their rental journey through to their buying journey or their sales journey, depending on who the person is, obviously, which is really powerful.
It is. It's so pivotal, I think, with where everything's heading. And I think a lot of it also boils back to subscription fatigue. When a principal's sitting there to look at the technology they need to run their business, how many subscriptions are out there at the moment? So how can we simplify, optimize, and really make things easy for an agent and an agency? So when we think about, I suppose, a bit deeper into CRM, it really is how can we help you keep a clean database? How can we help you ensure there's no duplicates? So often an agency we talk to and they're sort of talking about their 20, 30, 50,000 records. It doesn't really mean anything.
How many?
How many are unique? Exactly, the duplication factor. How many are actually got no surname, perhaps got a no email? So we want to make that life really easy for you to clean that stuff up, ensure you've got the single point of contact, but also in those offices that are perhaps closed databases, so it is private. Being able to cater to that as well, I think, is so important. Because there's a different streams of agency that want to be able to have a very open shared data or very much a closed database, so we can facilitate that.
It's very more and more common that as well.
Good to hear that you've got your sound working there. Which is awesome. So, look, one thing that I've also noticed is just the rise of the QR code. So it's sort of come back into its own. I did a little bit of homework on that and dates back to sort of 94, where Toyota actually brought it in for the manufacturing process. So they use it on all the parts and that sort of thing within the Toyota manufacturing process. Now we're seeing more than ever, it's that non-contact, that ability for agents to collect data, and streamline again as well, creating that linking, the duplication check is all built in on the fly as well. So if you're still using that paper-based inspection process, I highly encourage you to sort of reach out, dig into what we can do there to help streamline, because no one loves data entry, and if we can help you, whether it's off a number of a buyer that perhaps is inquired on a portal, that stuff should absolutely be synchronized through to your CRM and be there at your fingertips at your first open home. So you're just getting this real seamless experience from any touch point with a contact, and then you being able to add additional points, additional notes, follow-ups off the back of that as well. So I think the key for me is you want to keep a clean database, you want to create some automation, you want to start to leverage these sort of action lists. What does best practice look like in your agency? What do you feel should happen after you've done an appraisal? What should happen after you've met a buyer? Because, like we said, no one loves admin. So how can we set up some of those best practice of what the business expects and have those automatically kick off? So they can kick off SMS, email automatically, whether it's tasks, just to remind that agent to give them a call. All of that stuff I think is really key and important from a CRM perspective. Something I use in our CRM internally here, at PropTech Group as well, in my follow-up. We've got a lot going on. This hair is going grey by the day. Don't know whether it's with kids or
my
PropTech.
Grey, it's gone.
So it can happen to all of us. So when we sort of get to take this plunge now and go, well, look, CRM, core part of it, the heart of what we do for agency. One of my personal favourites, social media. So what does that look like, and where should you be spending your time? What's the purpose of it? Do you need to be on there? All of those things come to mind. But the reality is it's so fragmented, I think is one of the biggest things I can say. And like going back to my media sales days, it was sort of, you needed a website and you needed this social media stuff, but you didn't really know what to do, what to share. The thing now is you can't doubt the volume of people that are hanging out there, the eyeballs, the audience, and the time.
I think everyone still struggles on what to share,
what to
post. And some people are scared to share. Some people overshare. Not in that way, but overshare as far as I'm just going to post and post and post and post and post, thinking that the more I post, then the more followers I'm going to get, the more engagement I'm going to get. And it's not really about that. It's really about engaging your audience.
The right.
You know, pretty simply.
The right content for the right platform. And that probably brings us to it as well. There's quite a few icons on the screen. You'll recognise a lot of them. There's plenty that aren't up there. There's probably quite a few on TikTok. I saw an agent doing some great work on TikTok the other week. I shared in the group that I'm on as well. So it's something where think about the type of people that are following. As agents that are operating in local marketplaces, I think it's something that they can really hone in on is what do those owners want to know about?
Yeah.
They want to know what the market's like. They want to know, what did Sally Jane's house sell for down the road? How can you leverage those and get that out there in front of that audience?
So that TikTok video you spoke about, I sort of posted on a couple of groups, like internal agency groups, and asking comment and feedback, and the comments are quite, polarizing from one end to the other. But and it wasn't a serious virtual tour of a house. It was a bunch of agents having fun, acting like idiots. But the reason for that was it was a TikTok video. And that was the audience that they were directing it to. They weren't directing it to the mature age Instagram follower. It was to the young, exciting TikTok follower. And that's really, I guess what you're trying to say is you've got to direct the content at the right channel, hence why you've got so many channels on screen.
Yeah, that's it. And like there's the organic traffic to it as well. So like you talked about, relevancy can ensure you appear in more people's feeds, can ensure you're getting that engagement, interaction. But it's still quite a low cost to boost and to generate additional traffic to, whether it's properties, whether it's just that appraisal lead funnel you're trying to generate. So look, it can really be an opportunity for you to target that local community, to really have focus around that audience you're looking to build and build up that following.
Especially with Facebook and Instagram.
For sure.
Still really low cost. Now we compare it to something like LinkedIn, which is extremely expensive. But Facebook and Instagram.
But don't underestimate any of them, would you agree as well, Luke? Like LinkedIn, although it's business to business, I'm seeing more opportunity with business to consumer there. Because once again, people are spending more time on these platforms and they're just engaging with it. So it's just picking the messaging and the way you want to communicate on there.
And you don't know who your audience is either. You don't know who's reading it. And watching your post. So you can be posting, your agency can be posting on LinkedIn, as you said, but also there will be commercial people who will be following it as well. And go, oh, hey, I need commercial property.
For sure. You never underestimate. And you can get a lot of analytics out of the back of this as well. So you can then really determine who are these people, where are these people that are following me as well. So it's so important. Digging in a bit more personally, so there's some of the hot tips from myself when it comes to social media. A lot of what I've sort of uncovered and discovered over the years has come from a guy by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's gone on to do some pretty amazing things based in the US, whatnot. But some of those things really boil back to, like, the content is king, like we talked about, but the context is queen. Like the relevancy is so important. We touched on this already, but considering that audience of who you're going out to, which platform it is, whether it's TikTok, that dances the nuts on TikTok, as we're all aware, and really looking at where that underpriced attention is. So the eyeballs are there. How can we position ourselves to take advantage of the traffic and that audience, and whether we are then leveraging those paid boosts, etc. Just a stat I plucked out. It was just around sort of that usage of the age groups. It's phenomenal, and a lot of the time, Facebook is an aging platform now. So a lot of the time, the young ones aren't necessarily on there. And when we're thinking about who your next vendor, your next buyer is, they're probably spending more time on other platforms.
And not just young people either. Like, I've got mates who are young, who just don't use Facebook. They have a Facebook account, but they are primarily on Instagram.
So no, it's a real thing, and people get that Facebook fatigue, I think, so they just want to delete their account, but they also don't want to lose their photos and all those things. So Facebook have done a really good job at keeping people in their ecosystem, 100%. But I think they've got to keep making sure they stay relevant, otherwise they will. They own most of these other freaking socials anyway, but they've done a really good job there, but they just need to keep it relevant as well. If you wanted to wave your phone at that QR code, back in 2017, I kicked off a group on Facebook, and it was just for the purpose of sharing real localized content. It was something that I saw as an account manager operating in a localized Brisbane market, that I wanted to share content that was relevant because agents are busy. So they're going, I need to find something to share in my newsletter, something to share just on my socials. I thought, well, if I can leverage this Facebook group, that will be a great tool. And one thing I've learned is that it takes a long time to grow something like this. You need to put in the time and not give up on it.
I don't agree with that. No, I don't think so. Okay. You started in 2017. We are 2021. If my math serves me correctly, that's 4 years. You have, I think, 4,000.
4,500. Hopefully more after today.
A couple hundred more. But you have 4,500 in 4 years. So you've acquired 1,000 followers on average per year. That's not a lot of time.
True.
And simply look at it for 1 second. You're doing that in Brisbane.
Yeah.
It's a real estate agent primarily focused group.
Yeah.
And if an agent wants to take that learning and say do it in Noosa,
yeah,
it's a smaller audience. It's really easy to pick up an audience like that. But 4 years is not a lot of time. You know, agents don't just come in and stay in the industry for 2 years and go.
Yeah, well, that I suppose is the point.
That was organic though.
It was certainly organic. Yeah, no paid growth there. One thing though, like you said, Luke, I suppose everyone feels the weight of social media on their shoulders, like they're expecting to be YouTube famous overnight. It doesn't really happen. So yeah, no, I take on board what you said that growth of 4,500, and it does start to get exponential in some ways. Like you literally now see it that an initiative I kicked off in the last few weeks has been around getting auction commentary from the key auctioneers across Brisbane. So and even key agents of just how their market's performing on a weekend. So we can report that back in and get that engagement. So it's been really cool to see that as well. But I think I've probably chewed up a lot of time here, so we better jump ahead. I'm going to throw over to Luke with some questions around websites in particular. And Luke, why are websites, I suppose, for agencies still so important? And what are those key functions they really need to be considering with their website?
I think a website now is pretty much what your old bricks and mortar office was. Bricks and mortar is still there, obviously, the old shop front, but the difference is your website is open 24/7. And that 24/7 office is a cliche that's been banging around for years. But I think the important thing is from 2020 to 2021, that's now more relevant more than ever with COVID. So, you know, I guess one thing that we get, you know, customers bring up frequently is that, hey, we've got the portals, why don't we just direct you right to the portals? Portals will always be there, but portals have a specific audience. And I really think the difference is in what you're just talking about yourself with social media and with websites. It's all about knowing your audience and why they're coming to your website, which is important. The other thing is each agency has their own brand and by default their own brand ecosystem. So generally this is made up of a website, social media, as you were just talking about, e-marketing content, etc. And it's really important to remember that with everything that you do, you need to drive traffic back to that website to get more engagement, to get more traffic, to get better indexing with Google. Those things are still the same as what they were 4 or 5 years ago, but now they're even more important. People can't leave home sometimes. People can't go to opens. So more and more it's being driven digitally. And vendors don't go to Domain or REA or any other portals to find someone to sell their property. They will do that from signboards, they will do that from content that's being sent to them, they'll do that through referrals. And one thing they do is they come and check to see who you are.
Yeah, and credibility check out that website, I think, is a great way for you to have control over the message about your brand and business on your website. Because I think, like you said there with portals, they're very active. A lot of those people that are using the portals, they're going to buy something where you want to be able to nurture those sellers and that local community with the website.
Yeah, exactly. And your purchasers, you want to nurture them for when they want to sell their property, and your renters, you want to nurture them for when they want to buy a property and rent it.
Not just the transaction.
No, it's not just a transaction at all. You know, it's not just about the wallet, it's about the longer term view of your relationship.
Absolutely.
And people who embrace it, I think, really do win in the end.
I can see this distinction at the moment, the agents that are really embracing a lot of these tools that are available and the ones that perhaps aren't. And the gap's broadening very rapidly. So
But I think it's also about simplifying what you're doing. So when you said before, there's so many subscriptions, there are so many subscriptions. So cut them out. Like really go back to basics. What's the basic stuff I need as an agent or as a principal or as a property manager to do my job and do it well? And just, I suppose, cut out the noise and focus on what's really important. That's kind of
it's got to deliver a return on any investment you're making.
Totally.
Isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. So, what are some of the do's and don'ts that the agencies should be aware of?
Well, I touched on it before, but number one for me, and when I'm talking to customers, is don't try and be a portal. Is the main thing. So you need to know who your audience is. Your audience is vendors and it's landlords. People, I can't say 100% of the time, but a majority of the time, people won't go to ABC Real Estate in Morningside to find a property to purchase. They'll go to a portal. So you need to know your audience and know how to engage with them and what to say to them. I think having a really good integration with your CRM, and here's a little bit of a sales thing, obviously, because we work for Project Group, but we integrate with Vault RE, we integrate with Eagle. And and the integrations we have are really deeply. And that's, I guess, what I was touching on before as far as make it simple and create efficiency. So if you are with Vault, for example, and someone submits an inquiry on your website that's with us, or an appraisal request or whatever that might be, that automatically goes into Vault. It saves time having to email. So integrations are really key, not just with your CRM, but with, Rate My Agent, for example, or digital management, or whatever it is. Having good, smart integrations that really do integrate, not just a button on the page that takes you off somewhere, because you want to keep traffic on your page. That's really important. So content, as you said, is king, but at the same time, don't bore the hell out of me by just giving me all these content pages that I have to crawl through, because the interaction and engagement with those is really low. So deliver targeted content that people want to read and that's engaging for them. I'm looking to sell my home. Tell me about what I need to know about selling my home. How do I get it ready for you coming around? So when you're coming for an appraisal, tell me what I need to do to get ready for my appraisal.
Sure.
Things like that, are really important.
Absolutely. That's really good advice.
I think being realistic on your time is the other thing. So when someone builds a new website, they'll say, I'm going to do blog articles every month, and I'm going to do all this social posting, and I'm going to do this and do that. You need to be really realistic with the amount of time and effort you can put into your running your website. So
full-time jobs in themselves, a lot of these parts, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and a lot of big agencies will employ people internally to write article content for their website, for social media, whatever it is. So 100% it can be a full-time job.
And Google's changing all the time as well, their algorithm, that sort of thing, aren't they? So to stay relevant, and if you do say you employ someone internally, are they at the cutting edge? Are they got that knowledge and experience to be able to deliver on it? Because I think some of the partners and stuff that we utilise within PropTech Group is to make sure that if we're going to recommend someone, that they are at the cutting edge when it comes to like SEO, SEM, and those sort of things as well.
Well, if you're going to employ someone full-time to work on your website, let's say that's $60,000 a year. And if they were going to run your SEO, etc., again, you have to weigh up, is $60,000 wage worth what I can get for $1,000 per month somewhere else? I think that, to answer your question, Google on average makes 380 odd changes to their algorithm every single year on how they index websites. So it's really complex, right? You got to have it's back in the days, to bore everyone for 1 second, when people got a website and they wanted someone to work on SEO for them, they would hire someone who'd create all these links in multiple countries around the world, and that was what it was. Now, really good SEO companies, they employ mathematicians, they employ some of the smartest people in the world, because it's an analytical job now. It's not just about Mary likes the word Coca-Cola, so I'm just going to put Coca-Cola on the page and then all these people are going to come and see me. That's not the way it is anymore. No, even think back to the yellow pages. AAA Realty was going to have the best spot in the world. Because it's number one.
It's now that's no longer.
No, not at all.
So important.
No, just one last thing I think, sorry, before we move on.
Okay.
I think spending wisely as well is the other thing that everyone needs to be aware of. Don't go and spend $10,000 or $20,000 a year on SEO to combat the portals, because you'll never win that battle. They spend multiple millions of dollars every month on SEO and driving traffic to the portals. You'll never beat it. But again, it's not the audience you want. You want vendors, you want landlords, you want listings at the end of the day. So spend your money wisely and target the audience that you're after.
Definitely. Good advice there.
Hopefully.
And looking at the key things agencies should be doing on their website, what are some of those? Like, should you do an appraisal lead generation tool or something like that?
I think you need to prove your history is probably a really important thing. So
proof that evidence of results.
Give yourself credibility. Have sold listings on there. Have statistics on there as well as another cool thing. Case studies, testimonials. Rate My Agent or Google testimonials, etc.
Across multiple with these.
Correct. With the aggregation. 100%. Statistics is like probably the most important thing you can have on your website. As I said, someone has come in there to sell their property through you or to rent their property through you. If you've got 9 seconds from when someone lands on your homepage for them to be engaged with you. And if you have statistics that clearly show, number of sold listings, for example, or current listings in the market, days on market, or what your vacancy rate is, far more to get someone to go, this agency has credibility. I want to deal with them because they've been in it for so many years. They've sold this many properties. The average property sale is this, or whatever the stats are, but definitely have statistics. That's probably the most important thing.
For sure.
because we still today see people get websites through us and they will have a hero image and they'll have a buy and rent search bar on their homepage. You're not a portal. People are coming here to sell their property through you or to list their property through you. So tell them why they need to be interacting with you and why they should be listening with you.
Yeah.
And I think stats is probably the most important thing. Engaging content is the other one as well. So inform your audience, close the loop with social marketing, always direct people back to your website, but engage them and inform them with things that they want to know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And yeah, if you are getting these blogs written, those sort of things, you can always go back and revisit some of those popular blogs, can't you? And you could just refresh some of that content and just really give them a new lease on life to continue to.
Yeah, 100%. If something's performing really well, you're getting a lot of traffic to your website or a lot of engagement on social for a particular article. Definitely rehash that. People love snackable content. So definitely, I would definitely encourage you to redo that as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, do property appraisals really still work? Like in that space?
As in like a request that.
Yeah.
Yes, they do, but to a limited degree. So one of the things that we did is we integrated with Price Finder, with all of our websites, and with a appraisal request, or what is my property worth button.
Okay.
And the reason for that is people are less likely to hand over their information without getting something in return first.
Yeah.
So it's a simple process. The vendor or landlord enters their address. It gives them a suburb flyover of their local area.
So not an estimate on the house. Is that they all push back? I think sometimes.
Yeah, you can't.
The accuracy of some of these estimates.
Correct. You don't know the data warehouses, so Core and Price Finder don't know that John fully gutted his house last year and it's now worth X. You don't know that. You only know what the average median is and you know what the previous sale history is in the property. So when you suburb overview, it's a lot more engaging and people are far more likely to go, oh, the median price of my area is this, absolutely contact me, and then they reach out for a physical appraisal.
And even if they don't give their details, do you still get any way of capturing that address that's plugged into your site?
So every address that's put in there, it gets logged basically in the back of the site, so then an agent can cold call them and say, hey, look, you entered your address on our website, so I reach out to see if you're still looking to sell.
Perfect. How we can assist in the process.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, I think it's still a key part to it. Like Luke said, it's not about being a portal. So if you can offer those value add services in your site, a great opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think COVID has changed the way visitors use agency websites as well?
120,000%.
Okay.
That
much?
100%.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now more than ever, that we hear that term more and more now, digital first, and really that's what it is about.
Okay.
There are so many times now where, as we've already joked about everything, where you're locked down, you can't go, opens are off, etc. So being digital first is absolutely critical. So one of the first things that we did during COVID was partnered up with a company called Props that offers online digital management for offers. And the main reason for that was that people can intend a virtual open home or see an open home, etc. Go to an open home, and then if a lockdown happens, when they want to make an offer, they can just direct that person directly to their website, to the listing on their website, and then they click make an offer and they can transact it.
Yeah. Nice.
The other thing is it creates a single workflow for you to receive offers into your business.
Great.
The cool thing is with Props is that it's free. It's built into every single one of our websites. As an agent, you don't pay to use that at all. You can pay to get a deeper level of features, functionality with the product. But as a standalone product, it does fall on office management. And that's, I guess, just one way that things have changed since COVID is the adoption of that. The other big thing we've seen is a take up of AI chatbots.
Okay.
So, one of the biggest mistakes people have is they go, oh yeah, I want to have a chatbot on the website. So they get the Facebook Messenger put on there, or they get Drift, or there's hundreds of them out there. The problem is, if you're not there to man it just falls off and people get annoyed and then you start getting abusive messages on there. So the AI technology that's out there has grown dramatically over the past 3 years, and it's really accelerated over the past year and a half with COVID, as a lot of leading tech companies have done. They've really, pushed up the market that normally would take years. It's taken weeks and months. Google's one of them, for example, with what they've done, and Zoom and everything else. Everyone knows what Zoom is now. So the AI chatbot is awesome in the sense that it can have a human conversation. It learns from you. It learns from your website visitors as well. It reads the data that's on the page. So it's not just about, I'll put in 5 questions in the back and it'll know what to say. Yeah. It's reading the data. So if property description has, tennis court, pool and boat shed, and someone says, does this property have a boat shed? It knows, yes, there's boat shed in the description. Yes, it does have a boat shed. Do you want me to arrange someone to come and show you through the property, for example? So that's probably, the main things that have happened. Getting rid of, physical paper forms, etc., and going for full digital forms online has been another big thing with application, rental application management, maintenance requests. We've got obviously verifying inspector as well from an agent's perspective.
Yeah.
So,
and they're even doing tenants who are producing the inspections as well during
COVID. Do your own inspection.
A bit risky, but hey,
it's all time stamped, but still, it's pretty cool.
Facilitated during COVID to be able to help agencies still go on to do their jobs and deliver that experience in the PM space.
And I think the best thing that's come out of COVID, I didn't mean to be inappropriate there, but the best thing that's come out of COVID, I'll say it again, is the way that we have all now been able to embrace tools to make things more efficient and easier.
Yeah.
Like props was like one of those light bulb moments for me where agents would receive offers via email, via text even, some on forms, all these multiple different ways to submit offers.
Yeah.
Now to have one workflow in is a lot more easier, not just for the agent, but also for in this case, the purchaser wanting to make an offer on a property.
Yeah.
Knowing that I can just do it simply, I can do it from the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
I don't have to fill in all PDFs or whatever it is.
I had an agent say the other day that he felt that the buyers actually wouldn't necessarily engage in offers unless it was a digital process. So he found that was a big point, that they had to pivot quickly in that digital offer space. Otherwise, buyers just won't engage. They'll be more inclined to make offers on other properties, even though they may prefer your property.
Yeah.
It just, when you start pulling out paper these days, a lot of people are hesitant.
Well, don't forget Gen X. Gen X do business in the way they want to do business, when they want to do business. It's not about, I will wait for you. It's, no, I'm now ready to, in this case, make an offer. I will do that when I'm ready and how I want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting times, isn't it?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. And what about marketing automation? So I know our Chief Marketing Officer, she's big on this. How do we really leverage marketing automation to benefit agencies?
Yeah, so I guess start with some, basics on what marketing automation is. So marketing automation, it's basically all about closing the loop and tracking a contact's journey through your website, through social, and through e-marketing. Marketing is not just about sending an email or posting something on Facebook. It's about what you do with the data that's generated from that campaign or from that post or from that email that gets sent out. I think it's, I think importantly with Vault and Designing, for example, it provides agencies with the tools to do this in a very quick and automated fashion, as well as being able to access those, in real time, that analytical data. So that that, I've scheduled an email to go out, as an example, with a new listing on it. I can see these 17 people have clicked on it this many times. Well, then I'm going to get those 17 people. I'm going to roll them into a new category called hot property or whatever it is. Then I'm going to retarget them with something else.
Okay. Yeah.
So accessing those, that data and the analytics is probably now that sounds really scary. Like, how do I interpret all this? It's not really that scary. It's actually quite simple to do. Once you kind of step back and look at what's in front of you, it's really simple.
Oh, good. Hearing some little alerts go off. I don't think we've got bucket loads of questions coming through. All good.
That was my Google Chat Messenger on, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's on.
Another one of your many channels.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I suppose that some of those benefits, like you're touching on already, is just, getting sales and marketing on the same page, is just sort of, linking up that communication across multiple channels.
I mean, if you're wanting to, obviously, you want to get more listings on board, for example, you sell a property. So there's some certain, hygienic steps you should take within your agency to promote that. So you've sold a listing, you get a testimonial from the client, rate my agent, Google, however the office wants to handle that. Get the testimonial, attach it to the sold listing on your website, and then push that listing out on social with a testimonial, push it into your e-marketing, again, the sold listing and the testimonial on there as well, and send it out and promote that. That's like really, it's not, I guess it's not rocket science to a degree. It's more about putting out the data, putting out the content easily, and then tracking what happens with that data and analysing it. And this email worked awesomely because I had the photo of the pool on there with the testimonial. I got so many people looking at it. Or it didn't work. So next time I'm going to tweak it and do this. It's more about having a go and learning in a really simple way, but then looking and analysing what happened with that. So, I sent this email out, or I did this Instagram post, and I've had 6 people reach out to me today about selling their property, or this week about selling their property off the back of that. And that's the other thing. Ask about how people have
the source of inquiry.
100%. How did you find out about me? How did you find out about us?
It allows you to really trace down, work out the return on investment of those platforms and tools you're using. And
it doesn't need to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this either. It's not about paying $600-700 a month for emails to be automatically sent out to your base at all. It's about coming up with a campaign and finding content that resonates with the people that you're trying to talk to, and then iterating that and using it is the most important thing. Don't just send an email out and then go, that email's gone, I've done my marketing for this week. Come in on Monday or on the weekend if you're at home or whatever it is, and go, oh, geez, this many people opened this email. These people have clicked on it so many times. So
prioritize
what they clicked on, exactly. Or prioritize the content. So this content resonated with them. These people clicked so many times on this particular link, which was about how good Luke Thomas is at prop tech, or whatever it was. And then use that content again and push it back out there. Because obviously what's winning. So that stuff can be really simple, and you don't need to pay a lot of money for it.
You reckon you could show us? Like, we've got the Designly platform. You reckon you could take us through a little bit of how easy it is?
No. Yes, I can.
All right. I'll hand you over.
So I'll just quickly, Dan asked me to do a couple of examples of templates for you. I'll put my glasses back on. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't used it, this is basically the Designly system. And what I really wanted to show you today was basically how simply you can create marketing assets, basically, to send out to your base. So Designly itself is broken up into a number of modules. So we obviously have e-marketing. So we've got newsletters, buy, match, property alert, etc. E-cards. E-cards are a really cool thing. Engagement, Christmas, Easter, birthdays, happy anniversary is all the type of stuff that you can do in here. But people laugh about, it's your birthday, send it out to me. Actually, no, if someone takes the effort to say, hey, happy birthday, and it's personalized, it actually does make a difference. Having a personal connection with somebody is really important. Obviously, it covers printables as well. I'm not going to deep dive into these. I just want to show you two key things. But obviously, you can print window cards, create magazines, stock lists, etc. Social is obviously really important. So we cover off on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and obviously you can do Facebook cover pages as well. Cover images, sorry. So you've got a great home come out for auction on the weekend, put it your cover page. Don't just leave your cover page with the team photo on there, which has been there for 2 years. Change it all the time, refresh your content. This stuff's really simple to do. And dedicated commercial, we have dedicated property management as well. But for example, if we're talking about Instagram, to create Instagram posts in Designly, this is a test account I'm using here, so there's only one listing in there, but basically you choose your design as I have here, and all you need to simply do is click on insert property, click on property search. I'm going to just select the one and only listing that apparently I have, this one here, hit insert, and now that's it, I'm done. Like literally that simple. If I wanted to, I can come in here, this is going to bring in the property headline, etc. But I can obviously change this to whatever I like, or you can add more text, etc. It's obviously all pre-branded, it's in my colors, etc. as well. And now all I need to do is download it and post it. That's it. Save JPEG or PNG.
Fantastic.
Great. But this type of stuff, if it was a sold property, it's really important to put that out there. It literally took me 1 second to create this.
And if you're using other platforms to do this, for example, load the images in, go and copy paste the text perhaps.
Correct. So the cool thing with Designly, if you're using Vault, for example, is that it integrates with all your property listings.
Perfect.
So you don't have to go and save the image of the property and then upload it again to the subscription that you're using. This is all built in, it all comes free. No one pays for design, it's all part of the subscription with Vault, which is really cool.
One other cool feature that Vault have got around photographers, you can get their own login to load their photos of the property straight in to save that Dropboxy sort of scenario. Dealing with different resolutions and watermarking can all be done within the platform as well. So that blew me away as well, just that efficiency you can create back to your CRM around vendors, photographers, all being able to log in to interact with whatever it is that's important.
Yes, and also it makes it quick and easy. That's the main thing as well, is that efficiency around it.
Yeah.
So the other quick thing, sorry, I'll just show you is e-marketing. So one thing that we did do last year is we integrated with a company called the Real Estate Voice, which basically produce real estate targeted content. So here I've just mocked up an e-marketing template called In the News. This is obviously your merge field, so this will pre-populate when I send it. I can obviously change the information in here following a fantastic article.
One thing with Market Report, when you are sending it out in an email with that subject, do a lot of the email platforms now get clever, don't they, and just pop it into spam? So having different subject lines and things that are going to be trying to get past the spam.
Correct. And also the other trick for that is not having too many links. People who build out lots and lots of links.
Yeah, it's just pretty obvious that it's spammy, newslettery.
Yeah, correct.
So if you keep that in mind when you are building out your newsletter, keeping it simple, keeping it personalized, relevant again, is still really the key.
Yeah, correct. So in this case, I want to send out an article to a category within Vault. So what I need to do is click on article search here. And I've got a bunch of articles here that I can access. I can search for articles. I can search for a particular type of article I want to send out, be about auction or styling my home or whatever it might be. In this case, I'll go with vertical garden. I can read the article or I can just insert the article basically. And that's like literally it. So the article's been inserted and now I can just hit send and send that and it goes out to the category I want to send.
Sweet.
So it's really simple. And I mean, those two things that I've just shown there, I know they're pretty basic, but the fact that you can do an Instagram post or a content-based email within 2 or 3 minutes is really easy. And I know that these are obviously ones that I created here before, but for example, just to give you an idea, if I want to use this template, for example, I can just literally go create, and it basically builds the design for me, and then I can just easily jump in and edit it. It really, literally is a couple of minutes, and that's all I need to do.
And I think some of this stuff falls by the wayside as agents get busier too. And we just want to make sure that it can be easy, can be part of the process, and that you keep up that level of service and that content that your clients and local market expect.
Yeah, absolutely. So campaigns is a great thing, and I apologise I've only got one listing in here, but for example, with campaigns, I can create, say, a standard Instagram post, a Facebook post, an e-marketing blurb, a DL card, and a window card, for example. And I can say that's the standard assets that I want to produce for a sales campaign or sales listing, sorry. And when I have my listing, I come into into Design, like all my listings would be here, and I hit generate campaign, and it instantly goes and creates 4 of those assets. Instantly, I don't need to do anything. I can download it, share it, and send them what I need to do.
Amazing.
So it is pretty simple. And it basically means that you can get all the marketing things that you need in 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's it.
Nice. Anything else you want to show us in there?
No, that's me done.
No, very good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going pretty good for time. One thing we'd like to do with everyone online here is just get a bit of a feel for what you sort of consider the most important thing there. So we've just got a little poll. We're just going to kick off here and just gauge your feedback. So if you'd like to jump on there, you should be able to click and vote within the poll, and we'll keep it open for a little bit there. Thank you for everyone jumping in with your responses, and we just might have a quick chat to that, and then we really want to dive into that Q&A and just really get some questions. We've got Luke here. Anything that's there, just burning question you might want to know. But we totally understand finding and winning more listings is something that's really a challenge. Hopefully some of the tips, tricks we shared today can just sort of help you focus in on what's important. Like there's so many things that you do need to do in your days.
And I think also knowing that it really is simple, like it doesn't need to be difficult. It can be, you don't have to overthink it. It's really just more about, taking a step back, listening to your audience, having a go, and then coming back to it again.
Great. Anyone else having audio issues? Happy to receive a question there.
It's okay, sure.
Yeah, should be all worked out. Perfect. Any others dropping through? Just got a couple more questions being answered there, and then we can wrap that up. Too easy. We'll close out the poll. And there we are. So CRM, you guys, it's resonated with you there that CRM is a core part, the heart of what you're doing, followed closely by marketing automation. We touched on that. So just everyone, I suppose, understands the importance of it, but how can we create some of that automation through the process and make sure it's tailored, make sure it's relevant to the audiences you're pushing it out. No one really talked about chatbots, which is sort of understandable. It's sort of coming in like we touched on, and I think a lot of people are having probably more poor experiences with poorly installed chatbots that perhaps aren't delivering the experience.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Perfect, perfect. So we just have a quick look in some of these questions. So
Q&A.
Yeah. So what we see, Spoke. So Spoke's been mentioned. Luke, you might know a little bit more there of how their offering compares to some of the offerings that are available through PropTech Group.
Yeah, I think Spoke, so for those of you who don't know, Spoke is a digital marketing, like Google SEO, social media, etc. Spoke actually, it's pretty cool what they do. So it obviously purely focuses on real estate. And with the birth of Spoke, I think it's really the first time we've seen a real estate-centric digital marketing agency out there servicing the industry and only focusing on that. Obviously, we have an SEO partner and digital marketing partner as well, but you know, real estate forms part of what they do.
Yeah.
They service a lot of our clients. Yeah. But I think the exciting thing with Spoke, and I'm sure more and more of those kind of companies will launch into the PropTech industry, is that they are focusing directly on real estate agents, so they live and breathe it.
Yeah, cool.
Like up to website design, I guess.
Yeah. And on that website design, what's a typical website build taking these days?
If the agency has got their content all ready to go, they kind of, let's have at it. 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Cool.
If they don't, on average, about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It just depends on
the back and forward and that sort of thing. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect. So should marketing automation post to social media?
Should marketing automation post? So that's an interesting question. So I presume that what you're referring to there is the automatic generation of posts and scheduling of posts. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Yes, it should do that. However, you need to understand that Facebook and consequently Instagram is now starting to, I guess, deduct the audience that you would be shown in front of if it's a scheduled post. So Buffer and all these other applications that are out there, Facebook is now picking up on that and not showing that article or that post to as many people because you've scheduled it and you haven't done it natively, funny enough, through Facebook and Instagram scheduling tools which they launched this year.
Yeah, gotcha. How often should you post on social? What do you think?
I think it really, as long as you're posting engaging content, then post as much as you like.
Yeah.
You will soon know if your content is like engaging because no one will click on it and no one will view it.
Yeah.
So then you've got your Facebook group, which, you know, hopefully everyone's already following, but you can see every time you post how many people have seen it.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that just with a normal Facebook page, but you will pretty quickly learn what people are interested in.
With
yeah. The best thing to think about is put yourself in your viewers' shoes, and if you believe that they would engage with it, then post it.
Yeah.
But definitely don't just spam constantly all day because people will start unfollowing you. And the thing you need to remember, guys, is that you may have a Facebook page that has got 3,000 people liking it. People can unfollow you even though they've still liked it, so no one's seeing your content.
Yeah. And I think just sharing other people's content is not enough either anymore. You need to put some context to it.
Why are you sharing it?
Yeah, why? Yeah. Like, what does that mean to me? Why did I share it? So,
I remember when I used to look after Website Blue's social posts a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I used to just, content is king, so I would just share, and no one would ever read the articles. So now it's more, I think about the article I'm going to share, I talk as to why I'm sharing it, why I think it's important for people to look at, and then I share it.
Cool. Marketing automation. We'll come back to you with more info. We encourage you to book a session with our team to be able to get more information on this. We really know that there's a lot to cover. So we've just sort of spending an hour with you today. One of the other questions there around drip fed or sequenced email automation is absolutely part of the action list. And triggers
and scheduling
all could be done within the Vault and Designly platforms for sure. Customizing templates, absolutely, that's something we can offer there. As service, a paid service, as well as just you can work with the elements. And I think in the pipeline there might be something new and exciting coming.
Absolutely.
Around Designly.
Launching in October.
Well, we can't say too much for now, but stay tuned for that.
Props is the Paul Clark asked, what is that in the online office program? It's called Props.
PROPPS. So action plans in my desktop used to be sent automatically. Now in Vault, they're not sending. We might just need to get one of our trainers to reach out there just to make sure we can get those happening for you. It absolutely should be able to schedule and send automatically, both email and SMS. So we'll work with you on that. And with the rewriting the blog posts, we encourage that as well to just get that additional credibility with Google.
Sorry.
Anyone else got any other questions you'd like to throw to us before we wrap up?
Did you have a poll?
The additional poll, So a few of you have asked, so we will just throw this out there. This will be captured and we'll be able to reach out to those attendees that do want to book that consultation. So just if there is that interest, please feel free to click on there. There will be follow-ups, so even if you do say no, you may still hear from one of our team. It's important that we get feedback. We want to make sure we can continue to add value with these. There will be a lot more coming, so absolutely stay tuned for the next one. These will be sort of twice monthly, and ideally just content that hopefully
monthly. It's a lot of talking. Not with me. That's right.
We'll bring you in as a special guest, but I think there'll be different team members from PropTech Group. Ideally, just helping to bring all this together to provide that trusted advice at the end of the day in market. That's going to certainly help you in your day. Like, it is a noisy, fragmented marketplace out there. We absolutely appreciate that. Leverage the knowledge, experience from the PropTech Group team. We will only be partnering with products and solutions that are going to add value to your business. And like we sort of said at the start, it's important to really perhaps do a full analysis over that PropTech stack within your business to make sure that it's efficient.
And don't pay for things just to pay for them. Think about what you want.
Plan it out, and we can then help advise around which tools are going to deliver that best experience for your team. And it should ultimately give you a better work-life balance as well. I think with this, we've all realised with COVID that some days we can get in front of the computer 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning and still be there at 6 o'clock at night. But it's important that these tools do deliver that efficiency around everything you do.
So shout out to your Facebook group.
So Brisbane Real Estate Property Insights is the group I run on Facebook. If you search that, you should find it. As I said, about 4,500 people there, particularly in that Brisbane market. If anyone wants to kick one off in any other states, highly encourage it and reach out if you want any advice or tips in getting one started. But it's certainly been a great.
Should definitely do that.
If anyone's interested,
if anyone's interested in kicking off a Facebook group like Daniel's done, obviously aimed at a different audience, definitely reach out to him because it's just a fantastic idea. You should definitely be doing it.
Too easy.
100%.
And if you've got Designly, you can't access the articles, we'll be in touch there to resolve with that as well. It's no problem. All right. Thank you, team. Signing off. It's been great. Hopefully everyone's got something useful out of today's session. As we said, hoping to add that value into your day, and appreciate you joining PropTech Group for today's webinar.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.